It's just such a pleasure for me to introduce two extraordinary women tonight and two extraordinary voices in our nation's public life. Our guest of honor is a mother of two, a wife, a lawyer, a Sunday school teacher, community volunteer, former Democratic representative from the 20th District of New York, and of course now United States Senator from New York in her second term. But that's not all. As of 2 days ago, Senator Kirsten Gillibrand has added a new title to her resume, author. Senator Gillibrand's new book is called Off the Sidelines, Raise Your Voice, Change the World. It's part memoir, part call to action, part inspirational guidebook for women doing the great balancing act of modern life. And by the way, for men too, it's a great book, so just want to say that to be sure. The title comes in part from the wonderful online book group that Senator Gillibrand has convened, in which women across the country join together to discuss a book every few months and share ideas about how they can use their voices to affect change in their communities and beyond. Off the Sidelines, the book charts Senator Gillibrand's own journey from a family with generations of formidable women to her career as a lawyer, to her role as a wife and mother, and of course, she talks about a seminal moment that motivated her to launch herself into elective politics. Her energy, determination, and resilience, whether bringing her sons with her to peek into the Senate floor while she's voting or taking on the military brass on the issue of sexual assaults, have quickly made her a respected, influential, and extremely refreshing voice on Capitol Hill. Senator, I just want to say that your candor and your humor and your sense of possibility are so evident in your book and so welcome in this town, and I want to thank you for being such an inspiration to so many of us. It's a great, great book, and I hope you all will read it. It's believe it or not, it's a political book, but it's actually a page-turner. It's a really fun read. In conversation tonight with Senator Gillibrand is a friend and longtime customer at Politics and Prose, Andrea Mitchell, who is probably better known to most of you, however, and most of America for her prize-winning reporting on NBC News. She's host of Andrea Mitchell Reports, a daily show on MSNBC that explores the most important issues of the day, from crises around the globe to crises in our country, and especially she's focused some really important attention on challenges facing women. To borrow a line and a concept from Senator Gillibrand's brand and from her book, which if you read it, you'll see that she talks about this, she urges us to stop talking about having it all and to think instead about doing it all. And I just want to say that if anybody has done it all in journalism, it is Andrea Mitchell. So thank your incredible career and great inspiration as well. And in case you're wondering, both of these women have done the ultimate, and that is the Ice Bucket Challenge. So please join me in welcoming Andrea Mitchell and Senator Kirsten Gillibrand.
Thank you so much, Lisa. And I can't tell you what a thrill to be back here at Sixth I and to be with Kirsten Gillibrand because, well, the book it's inspirational, it's funny, it's personal. I don't know if you saw Jon Stewart last night, but you can find it online. It was great. He was obviously really interested in finding out, you know, what is the challenge and why are many men on the Hill, frankly, and in other workplaces, I'm sure, including my own at times, why are men so incredibly stupid and boorish and unreconstructed? And
I was wondering what word you were going to choose. I was like, which one is she going to pick?
Not the one that was bleeped out of by Jon Stewart. And then I was fortunate to have the senator on today, and we got so, I don't know, I got so taken up in all of her answers that I don't think I asked very many questions. It was just so much fun to have you on. So thank you all for being here. And I know that you offer empowerment and encouragement to women of all ages. And particularly, I was very struck today when you talked about young, less powerful women. You're a United States Senator, so you can take some of it. We can all absorb it. I can absorb it. But for women in their first jobs, for interns, you know, how do they cope with male behavior that is patronizing at a minimum and is often offensive and all the way up to being, you know, blatantly illegal?
Right. Well, the reason why I wrote these stories, I included stories from my young career days. I told stories about my mother and my grandmother as, you know, women who marked their own way. They did their own things because I wanted to give the reader a chance to see themselves in each of these stories. And when you talk about someone saying something inappropriate to you, it really is undermining, particularly when you're young and you don't necessarily have the tools or know what to do in that circumstance. And I shared one story when I was a young lawyer. And I had been working so hard on this case, months after months, canceled vacations, worked all weekend, and we're having a celebratory dinner of all the team members, and the partner gets up to congratulate us, and I'm running the case for him. And so he says, and I want to thank Kirsten for all her hard work, but don't you just love her haircut? She looks so good these days. My mouth was open. I was dying inside. I'm thinking, I can't believe you're commenting on my hair. I just worked my butt off for you for months and months, and you're not recognizing me for my work. So for a young person in the beginning of her career, that is so undermining. It hurts. It makes you feel like you don't have value. It makes you feel like the work you've done has gone unnoticed. And so my advice to that young woman, myself, is you push through it, you work hard, and someday you might be that guy's boss. And that is a good thing. And when you are, you can change the climate. You can change how people treat each other and insist on something very different.
You write in the book, I got called a parakeet with no original thoughts, a cipher, a Chuck Schumer puppet, whatever that is. I was nicknamed Tracy Flick, the aggressive, comical, and somewhat unhinged blonde high school student played by Reese Witherspoon in the movie Election.
Yeah. Well, the reason why I share these particular stories is because I wanted to illustrate the broader challenge that all women face in the workplace. And, you know, when we look around, Andrea, the face of the workforce has really changed. 8 out of 10 families, moms are working. 4 out of 10 families, moms are the sole or primary breadwinners. But a lot of our workplace rules are really stuck in the Mad Men era. They're really stuck at the time when dads went to work, moms stayed at home. And so even simple supports like paid leave or equal pay, we don't even have in this country. And it goes to this overall and overarching themes of, do we value women? Are we valuing all they have to offer? I love Geraldine Ferraro's quote when she was the vice presidential nominee, and she says, it's not what America can do for women, it's what women can do for America. And that really sums up what I think this book's about. It's about our voices, how important they are, how our worldview and life experiences are different, and if we share our opinions and share our views and fight for the things that we care about, outcomes will be different and better.
One of the stories you share is when you were first elected and you had just had Henry. There you are, a senator, you're a junior senator, you're assigned to preside over the Senate, which means, you know, being out there on C-SPAN and for all the world to see, and you had to breastfeed. And there was some young male aide who just said, no, nobody else can do this. And until Senator Mark Udall, another freshman, bailed you out, you were in trouble.
It's so funny. So for those of you who are too young yet to have children or who are men, you won't really understand this, but for those of you who have nursed a baby, you do know when it's the time to nurse, you need to nurse. It's something that has to happen. And it's extremely uncomfortable if it doesn't. And I couldn't bear describing this to a 20-something-year-old aide. And so I just decided I'm going to solve this problem on my own, because I urged him, can I please just have a morning time or a daytime? And he was like, no, you do what you're told, basically. So I worked it out. I called a bunch of senators and found one, Mark Udall, who I call my white knight of presiding orders. And I described to him that I really needed to be with the baby during those hours. Could I switch with him? And of course he said yes. But, you know, a lot of our workplaces don't even realize why their policies affect women negatively. And one of the things that we talk about is this having it all debate. And what I found is my life is challenging. I have real challenges, similar experiences to a lot of moms. How do you get the kids fed in the morning, make their lunches, find the soccer uniform, and get out the door on time? It's very common. But my job has flexibility, and so if I have a sick child, I can bring Henry or Theo to work. If I have to get to a parent-teacher meeting, I can, you know, cancel my meetings during that time. I have flexibility, but you know, the woman who's going to clean the synagogue, the woman who is, you know, working at the grocery store, somebody working double shifts at the emergency room, they work the hours they're told to work, and they have no flexibility. And if their child's sick, if they don't have sick days, there's nothing they can do